Hello, everyone. My
Hi.
name is PJ Gupta,
I'm Tim Kay.
and we are Checkbook.io. I know it's towards the end of the day, and all of you guys are like, OK, this thing better be good. Well, I am going to show you something good, because we have built something that we think is game-changing, that is fun to use, and that's interesting, which is usually not what you typically say about payment systems. But let me show you. Okay? Checks. People talk about checks. There's ACH, there's e-checks, etc. What we have built are digital checks. Instead of sending paper, you use an email, name of the person, type in the amount, and our system will generate a digital image of a Check 21 compliant check. And it's sent out to you instantly in email. I will show you something live here. If somebody from the audience will send out an email to hello@checkbook.io, I'm going to send you a live check. First one gets it. In the meanwhile, here we go. Send me an email, and I will send you a live check for, how much should we do, Tim? $5?
Well, let's see if that gets the emails coming in.
No email yet. 10? Let me check. Whoa, look at this. Emails coming in? No. Wrong call. I was too excited. Here we go. The winner is Brian Link.
Please stand up, Brian. There we go.
Perfect. All right, Brian.
What did we say, $10?
I think we said 10. So you heard 100. Here we go. I have your email here as blink at AF247. Did I get that right?
Everybody else can send him email, too. Does that look right, Brian?
Yeah. All right. You, Brian, should be getting a check in email right now for $10, and it will look something like this. Got it? Perfect. So you have two choices. You could either deposit it online, or you could print it out. If you choose deposit online, that's where the fun begins. It will ask you to enter your bank, pull in. This has got to be your username and password. This information is not stored on our server. It's posted through a third-party API directly. And we retrieve your account number. And we make either a Check 21 or an ACH deposit to your bank. And it's really that simple. This is our solution. So, paying each other or getting checks from each other is fun, but this conference is about APIs. And paying each other, receiving payments from each other, fun, but from a business standpoint, never really makes anyone money. So we have an API, and we think we have an API for something very useful. Businesses are facing the problem of not being able to accept any payment system that either doesn't cost them 2.9% credit card rates, or doesn't have the delays associated with ACH or e-checks. There's really nothing there that solves both sides of the equation. And that is what our API does. This is what it looks like. You integrate it on your website, and individuals or businesses can come in and make payments to you on your website, and they will verify their account real time, just the first time. And they get a confirmation, and you, as the business, gets the confirmation of the payment. So let me go into the code and show you our API. It's right there on Git. You see it here. And I think you will like it because we made it really simple. There are 3 different types you can use. You can go the custom form route, direct API, and embedded form. What I'm going to show you is the embedded form. And look at our README. Here's the entire README. Okay? That's really how simple it is. In the embedded form API, you add the snippet. Basically, what you're doing is mapping the shopping cart data, the basics of the shopping cart data, and the necessary fields onto our payment system. And you can go from sandbox to production. And you need your publishable key, and then you have one simple callback. Really that simple. So let's see if we can dive right into the code. Before we do that, let me show you one merchant who has given us access to their site, and they are using our API. They are a wholesaler, so they don't have high margins. Don't question me about the look and feel of the site. I didn't design it, but it works. I think it does. What do you think, Tim? It works?
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, so here we are. I am buying, could be anything. I enter my basic info. And my billing info is the same. And I go to review order. Here I am. Notice checks are the only option at the site. So I click on Pay by Online Check, and here I am. My account is Wells Fargo. I am going to type in my credentials, and there we go. It retrieves my information in real time. It's asking me for a PIN. This is going to go away, but I pick a PIN. I click Submit, and here I am. By checking this box, I'm agreeing my account to be debited. If I click on Send the Check, I'll be buying a bunch of T-shirts that I don't want. So I'm going to leave it there. Now, let's see if we can dive into the code and see how this was implemented. So for any integration, what you will need is a plugin to the shopping cart, and that is what I'm going to show you. Here we are. We're already logged in here. Okay. So I go to the directory on their server, which is the shopping cart directory, which has the plugin. And if you look at the plugin, it's this one here. And this is the plugin for UberCart. They're using UberCart on their site, which is, works well with PHP. And as you see right here, this is the snippet of our code that you need. And just so that we are exactly clear, I am going to do a quick comparison. We don't have time. See, those are the fields, and in each of those fields, you simply substitute. You've got the public key here, and you've got for the data amount that comes in from the shopping cart. Similarly, this field is hard-coded. That's the merchant name. And similarly, these fields, the description, the email, the first name, last name, is all coming from the shopping cart. The redirect URL is determined by the merchant, and that's really it. And then you put the callback in the confirm file, and you are done. So I have another file which is fill in. And what I can do is here we are, and if you want, I can take, looks like I've already done all the groundwork of filling in the fields, all of these fields. So I am simply going to, for efficiency, copy this file over the existing file, and now I am going to go in a completely new incognito window and go to the same website and see what I can do here. This time I'm going to buy medium t-shirts, and I'm going to buy 5. I add it to the cart. I choose a different email address. And it should pretty much work the same way as it was. So here I am. You can see the user interface is relatively clean and simple. On their site, I go to pay by online check. They call it online check. And again, I used a different email, which makes me a different ID. I can use the same account that I have with Wells. And voila, it's asking me for a PIN. That's going to go away. That's pretty much it. So this is what we're doing. This is what we've built, and we think this could be interesting because you do verification. The money transfer obviously doesn't happen in real time, but the verification happens in real time. And depending on how you want to use it, I'm not going to go through this order. I'm going to go back. Here's our API, and let me get back to my slides. So this is the problem we're solving. Here's how we're solving it. The market size, as you may have heard from, everybody is fintech savvy here. You know how much money is transacted through paper checks. You know how much money is transacted through ACH. It's huge, the opportunity here. And our product is really simple. There is no sign up. You don't have to go to any other website, whether you're getting a check like Brian, whether you're making a payment on a merchant site. We charge $1 per transaction regardless of the amount. Discounts for volume. And what else do I have? Yeah,
That's it.
Let's
go to questions. We have about 5 minutes.
Questions?
And the audience did a wonderful job of submitting questions also. So if you have any more, send them to level2@FinDEVr.com. But we'll roll with what we have right now. First is any plans to make it available in Canada or internationally?
Good point. We are going to make it available in Canada soon. Canada is going to be the first one, whoever asked this question, and then other countries. I don't want to give a firm timeline, but let's just say it's going to be months, not quarters. Maybe a quarter or two, but thereabouts. Send us an email, and we'll work with you. But Canada is the first one that we're going overseas with. In fact, some of it's already in the works.
Great. And concerning security, how do you detect if the mobile device was stolen?
If the mobile device?
If the mobile device was stolen, yeah.
So one of the things you didn't see in this one is depending on the transaction amount and depending on the merchant, our API does allow for the merchant to, when the merchant signs up and gets their keys, to enforce what we call graded risk security. So for transactions above a certain level, you can request a two-factor auth, which means when they're completing, instead of that PIN thing that you saw, you can send out a code to their mobile device. So that prevents, that's basically two-factor authentication. Plus, the security that we already have, real-time verification, when you add to it, it makes it relatively secure.
Great. This next one, I do believe you kind of answered it partially in the presentation, but just to reiterate, is there still an ACH delay behind the ACH transfer?
Good point. Right now, where we are, there is a delay of 2 to 3 days in the actual money transfer, but that's something that we're going to remove relatively soon because we're doing real-time verification. So send us an email. We'll give you a timeline, but the short answer is it's going to go away soon.
Great. Let's see. Well, we actually have a lot more questions. Good job, guys.
All right.
With digital payments and instant mobile payments, will checks be used in the next 5 years, and why?
Perfect. Good. I like this question. The happiest day with us is going to be when the last paper check's written. So what we're doing is not about checks. It's about using an interface that people are very familiar with and leveraging the existing payment, the back-end Fed network infrastructure for Check 21, or maybe even ACH, and building a payment system that works end-to-end smoothly, both for the consumer and for the merchant, and doing it all online so there's no paper. So the short answer to that question is, the sooner the paper checks go away, the better for us. We cannot wait for the day for them to go away.
Great. What underlying API or system are you using to get account info, like the Wells login, and to submit deposit images?
We use third parties. There are a bunch of companies. This is, again, a fintech-savvy audience. I am not comfortable in naming the actual companies, but in a generic sense, I will say I think Yodlee is one of them. But I'll be happy to tell you more sort of one-on-one. There are a bunch of companies that are building interfaces to the banks that allow us to do what we are. And we're partnering, obviously, with them.
Great. And is there ever a problem depositing a printed out check?
Good point. Under Federal Reserve regulations, UCC and code Reg CC, a check printed on any paper is a legitimate valid instrument. Now, sometimes the banks, the teller at the bank may not like it. Typically what we've heard is they put a hold on it. But that's the worst problem that we've heard so far. And when you print out a check on paper, you can take a picture of it, you can cut it out, take it to the ATM. You have multiple choices.